Hi everyone and welcome to KRYPTALK, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. So yesterday Bitcoin crashed again. So in this episode we're going to ask the question that everyone wants to know the answer to. Are we in a bear market? Let's get started. This is episode number 56 and the title of this episode is Bitcoin crashed, is this a bear market? But before we do that, take a quick look at this. This is the KRYPTALK YouTube channel, so if you get any sort of value from this episode or learn anything new, like the episode, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, click the bell notification and set it to all. That way you'll stay up to date with all the latest Bitcoin price action and news. Okay, let's get the basics out of the way. So this is the Kraken chart. These are all daily candles and Bitcoin is trading at $35,400. We are underneath the 50 daily moving average, the 200 daily moving average, the EMA ribbon, and the RSI is trading at 22.15. Remember, the RSI, or the relative strength index, is a number between 0 and 100. The closer it gets to 0 is a sign that Bitcoin is oversold, and the closer it gets to 100 is that it's overbought. So now that we're bottomed out, just want to talk about the RSI very briefly. So I mentioned it's down around 20. Now if we have a look at this purple line here, if we'll actually scroll back, if we move back and see when it's down that low before. So the last time it was down this low was, this is about, it was down around 23, was the 19th of May, the 18th of May. Sorry, no, it was the 19th of May. And Bitcoin was trading at around 29, about $30,000, which was a good buying opportunity. Because if you bought then, you would have basically doubled your money when it hit the all-time high if you sold there. Obviously, you know, you're not going to be able to time the market correctly, but the whole thing is it's time in the market is better than time in the market. Now if we go back even further, let's see, the last time was this low, and the last time was this low it was March 2020, so that was during the pandemic scare. Okay, so if you bought then, and if you just take a look actually for argument's sake, so back then at its lowest point Bitcoin was down around $4,000. So if you bought then and you've held now, even with today's prices, you're up like 8 or 9x. Now sticking with the daily chart, I've just cleaned it up a bit. I've gone ahead and I've removed the EMA ribbon and I've removed the relative strength index. Now what I've kept is these two lines here. The red line is the 50 daily moving average and the green line is the 200 daily moving average. Basically the average daily closes for the last 50 days and 200 days respectively. Now you'll notice here that we've had a debt cross. That's when the red line or the 50 moves under the green line or the 200. Now that might seem very bearish, and a lot of times they are, but they've also served as very good buying opportunities because the price is low, and usually it's kind of a lagging indicator. We've had some bearish action and then it happens as opposed to the other way around. Now taking a look at what's happened, let's go from the all-time high around $69,000 down to the lowest point in this correction, which was yesterday. So you're talking down, we are down about 50%. Okay, so I'm not particularly worried because I dollar cost average. The lower Bitcoin goes, if you're like dollar cost average and €10 every week or £20 every 2 weeks or $100 every month, the lower Bitcoin goes, the more Bitcoin you can buy. So eventually when it comes good again, you're going to make a lot more profit. Basically lowers your average buy-in price for Bitcoin, which is good. Of course, that works on the premise that you believe that Bitcoin is going to increase in value again and hit these highs again. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel about it. I spend a lot of time reading about it and learning and investing about it. So it all depends on that. And again, nothing on this channel is financial advice. Always do your own research. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Now, what I want to look at here is this white line. What happened yesterday, this crash candle yesterday and the last few days? It's not all doom and gloom. Because if you look here, I've spoke about this line before and I haven't adjusted these lines. So if you take the all-time high here, we got a rejection there, obviously. It's an all-time high. Then we had another rejection off this white resistance line and multiple rejections here. And then I think it was on Christmas Eve, the 23rd, we broke up through it, came back down here then the kind of start of January and retested this as support. And even though the line is decreasing, it does seem that Bitcoin has flipped this previous resistance into new support, despite the fact that we're in a downtrend. So that actually might be something potentially bullish. Now, really quickly, I'm just going to take a few moments to talk about my dollar cost averaging experiment. Every episode, for the most part, I buy €10 worth of Bitcoin and we see if it's in profit or in loss. Remember, dollar cost averaging is when you invest a fixed amount of money, whatever fiat, whether it's pounds, euros, dollars, at fixed intervals in Bitcoin, regardless of the price. If it goes up, you buy. It goes down, you buy. regardless of the price. So for example, you buy €10 every week, or £20 every month, or $100 every fortnight. Regardless of the price goes up or down. So like I said, I've been doing this for 42 episodes, so €10 per episode. I've invested €420. So the current value of that Bitcoin that I bought with that €420 is now worth €589, and that's despite a 50% correction. It was a lot higher, but even despite that, it is still in profit. That's €169.41. So the profit is 40.34%. There was a time when that was like 200% profit. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people saying, oh, Bitcoin is gone, it's not going to come back, why would you buy it now? Now is the good time. Again, none of this is financial advice, this is only my personal opinion based on my own research. But it's a good time to buy when the price is decreasing, like during a bear market, because you're spending a fixed amount of money, but you're getting more of the Bitcoin. So when it comes good again, and when the price does increase, you're going to get more value back. Just kind of picture really sums it up. At $69,000 at the all-time high, people queuing up to buy, people are FOMOing in because the media is giving it more attention, more people know about it. You have family and friends phoning you up, asking you, how do you buy it? What's the story with it? But then no one wants it at $35,000, even though it's like basically a 50% sale. On with the episode. Now, referring back to the title of this episode, Bitcoin crashed, is this a bear market? For this, I've switched to the Coinbase chart, so it's still Bitcoin to US dollar, it's just a Coinbase chart, and also these are monthly candles, so all of these green and red candles, they represent 1 month of trading. Before I even start, let's go back as far as December 2014, which is only 8 years ago, and Bitcoin is trading, at about like $500. Okay, you're talking hundreds of dollars, whereas now it's $35,300. So that's like, just bear that in mind. Anyway, so are we in a bear market? The short answer is, I don't think we're in a bear market yet. Okay, so what I'm looking at is, if you look at the EMA ribbon, the same EMA ribbon that I'd use in the daily that we're currently trading underneath, this is the EMA ribbon but applied to the monthly. So you'll notice that we've just started to touch it. So I would imagine, this is January's candle, I would imagine we're going to have a bearish candle. I've been saying that for the last few weeks or months anyway. January tends to be bearish. So we're probably going to close inside here. But the last time we closed inside this EMA ribbon on the monthly, you'd have to go back as far as here, which was March 2020. Bitcoin trading at about $6,500 the end of March 2020. Now, in hindsight, if you were in March 2020 and Bitcoin was crashing and oil was crashing and the S&P was, everything was crashing and no one wants to buy anything because of, well, we know what's going on in the world, would you have bought? At the time, everyone was afraid, but that was the best time to buy because it's about $6,000. Now it's $36,000. What, you're talking about an 8-9x? Now, if you look back even further, the last time we kind of closed below that, so we had a run up here, did close below that there in December 2019. But if you look at these big ones here, when we had these closes here, this was like in the end of the bear market in December 2018. Now, what I want to do is show you a few things when this happens before, when we actually have our first kind of monthly close into the EMA ribbon on the monthly, after a period of kind of sustained increasing price action. So first of all, we're going back as far as December 2017. I'm just going to simple measure from the top here. I'm just going to measure down. So this little candle here is the first candle where it actually closed in this EMA ribbon after a period of sustained growth. So the price went up and then came back down and then it touched the EMA ribbon. So that would be minus 68% down from the all-time high, which was around $20,000 at the time. So how much further did it go? Bottomed out here in around, I think that was like basically January 2019, something like that. And it went to about minus 83%. So from here, from the all-time high, you were down about 70%, and then down just went to another maybe 13%. So really, most of the crash has done, most of the price action had kind of decreased, or most of the bad downward bearish price action had been done by the time we actually touched the top of this EMA ribbon. Let's have another example of it. Now here from the top, this is June 2019, had this crash. It closed below the EMA ribbon after a few months. So you're talking minus 47%. At its lowest point then, it would be minus 72%. Again, the majority of the downward price action is done by the time we touch this EMA ribbon. So that brings us to where we are today in our current situation. We've had the all-time high about $69,000. We've had 3 months of a bearish action. If we were to close here now, that would be our first monthly close in the EMA ribbon since March 2020. That would put us down 50%. If we were to fall another 20%, just the rough estimate judging by the other ones, from the all-time high, that would be bring us down to $20,000. Now, I think that is the absolute lowest we can go, whether this is a bear market or not, because when we have these all-time highs after halvings, when we have a bull market and all-time high, Bitcoin has never fallen below the previous all-time high from the previous bull market. So $20,000, I don't think we're going down as far as that. That's the absolute bottom, I believe. But we're more than likely going to fall into the low 30s anyway. I suspect we're going to have a double bottom pattern, which is bullish, and then continue to the upside. So we could be in for kind of a few choppy weeks or even months. So in summary, I don't think we're in a bear market now, but the more time we spend inside in this EMA ribbon on the monthly, the more kind of convincing the bear market argument is. So what I'm looking at is, obviously this is going to be, I'd imagine, a January bearish close here inside in the EMA ribbon. If the same happens in February, March, then, you know, it's pretty much bear market confirmed.